Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a paradox right at the heart of Nepal's future. On one side, you have this amazing vision of innovation, and on the other, a really strong push for centralized control. These two powerful forces are basically battling for the nation's digital soul, and we're here to break it all down for you. So on one hand, the ambition is just staggering. The government has kicked off something called the IT decade. It's a bold 10-year plan to export 3 trillion rupees in tech services. Now, to put that number in perspective for you, that's over 22 billion US dollars. It's a massive bet on a future powered by tech.
But here's the thing. As Nepal races towards this digital dream, a really fundamental conflict is bubbling up to the surface, and it raises a critical question. Is the nation building a modern, open economy, or is it kind of accidentally building a surveillance state? Let's unpack that.
Okay, so first up, let's look at the official plan. On paper, it's really ambitious, it's structured, and it sounds incredibly forward-thinking. At the heart of this whole vision is the Digital Nepal Framework. It's this comprehensive roadmap built on what they call the 1-880 model. The idea is pretty simple. You take one nation, you target 8 key sectors of the economy. We're talking health, finance, education, the big ones, and you do it through 80 distinct digital initiatives. And building on that framework, the government has officially declared this the IT decade. And they've set some seriously aggressive targets for creating jobs and growing the economy. We're talking about 1.5 million new jobs, building IT parks, and a huge push to bring in foreign investment, especially by tapping into the skilled Nepali diaspora living all over the world. But, underneath all these grand plans, the foundation of this digital dream is, well, it's showing some pretty serious cracks. Let's explore why that is. The entire region has seen just how devastating cybercrime can be. The infamous Bangladesh Bank Heist is a really chilling reminder of that. Get this, hackers exploited something as simple as a printer to steal $88 million. They did it over a single weekend using fake SWIFT transfers. That's the global network banks use for huge international payments. Then they laundered it all through casinos. Most of that money was just gone, never seen again. It's a stark warning of the risks here.
And don't think for a second that Nepal is immune. Actually, according to the country's own cyber bureau, this is how much was lost to cyber-enabled financial fraud in just the last fiscal year. Nearly 1.8 billion rupees. The threat isn't some hypothetical thing. It's already here, and it's costing real money. So a huge reason for this vulnerability is a legal framework that's honestly more like Swiss cheese than a shield. There's no single data protection law, no central authority to even enforce one, and the laws that do exist are all fragmented and just full of loopholes. This leaves regular citizens and businesses dangerously exposed, and you can see that reflected in Nepal's pretty low ranking on the Global Cybersecurity Index, 94th place. Then there's this other problem, a massive gap in who's actually online. While the official stats might claim nearly everyone has internet, the data from actual households tells a totally different story. Look at this. In the urban Kathmandu Valley, almost 80% of households have internet access. But you go to the rural Karnali province, and that number just plummets to 14%. 14! That's a huge disparity. And this isn't just a number. Experts call it a data divide blind spot. What that means is policymakers might be creating these huge national plans based on a faulty assumption, the idea that everyone has stable, widespread internet access. But the reality for most of the country is a precarious mobile connection, at best.
So how is the state responding to all these vulnerabilities? Well, this is where that central paradox of Nepal's digital journey really comes into sharp focus. Instead of fixing these foundational gaps in things like data protection, the response has been to build walls. For years, the state has been misusing the vague language of a 2008 e-commerce law to police online speech. But now it's doubling down with this powerful new social media bill. It would require platforms to get government licenses and take down content whenever they're told. It's a pretty significant move towards much greater control. And this table really lays out the path Nepal seems to be choosing. When you compare its proposed model to others around the world, you can see it lines up really closely with state control systems. It's very different from the rights-based approach of the EU or the market-led innovation model you see in the US. And here's the kicker. This push for control directly threatens the government's own economic goals. In fact, some analysts are calling it economic self-sabotage. Why? Well, because you can't really build a digital Silicon Valley with the regulatory toolkit of a surveillance state. This approach creates a high-risk, unpredictable environment that scares away the very foreign investment and skilled talent that the IT decade totally depends on.
So, this deep policy conflict puts Nepal at a really critical crossroads, forcing a choice between two profoundly different digital futures.
Ultimately, the nation has to decide. Is it going to build an open, innovative hub that creates digital bridges to the global economy? Or is it going to build digital walls around itself, where the dream of a tech-powered future gives way to the reality of a state-controlled surveillance society? The answer to that question is going to define a generation.